Welcome to Malcolm Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcolm and Rochelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right podcast. I'm your host, Malcolm Reed, joined by my lovely wife, Miss Southern Shell, and Tyler on the board. How's things going today, guys?
Good.
And gals?
Great. Good. Labor Day weekend?
Labor Day weekend. This one is a big one for me. Kicks off college football, really. I mean, I know there's been a few games. I watched a little college football last night. Tennessee put the smack down.
Tennessee looked good last night. I
You
didn't
think
watch
it was just who they were playing
I
to the
don't know.
talent they were
I don't know.
playing? Because, I mean, they scored 3 touchdowns, like, bam, and it was a blowout. I mean,
They were intercepting. I mean,
Yeah.
they looked really good. The
but
few
Missouri
plays I
was
saw.
decent, too, and they played to nobody, too. So.
Oh, really? I didn't see any of the Mizzou games.
I was flipping back and forth and trying to find something else to watch because, I mean, it's football. Don't get me wrong. I like it, but I'm ready for Saturday.
Yeah.
But we got Dove season 2. It kicks off hunting season. That's what I'm excited about.
So do you think Labor Day is more of like a into summer barbecue?
It is. It's a big, it's the last,
Hurrah.
the last big barbecue weekend according to the way retail sales are supposed to go for barbecue. Us barbecue folks keep on going. Really, this just gets me back into fired up to barbecue because it's been so damn hot.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been doing videos at the house, and it's, I mean, we started back, I guess, right when school went back, kind of. So it's been a few weeks. We've only done a few YouTube videos, but we've done a lot of TikTok, and it is so damn hot out there filming videos. Y'all just don't even know. When you're doing 4 or 5 in the same day, I mean, I sweat down.
It's hot. It's
I'm
been
like,
really
this
muggy.
sucks. What are we waiting? I mean, flies are still out. I was like, let's get fall here. Maybe Labor Day kicks off fall to me, in my head.
Yeah.
Pumpkin spice lattes start coming on. and
They came out this week, I think.
Yeah.
Starbucks.
Those are so overrated.
I'm
Who likes
not a
that
big
crap?
fan.
my wife has been there probably 10 times
Look,
already.
she likes the pumpkin spice.
Loves it.
I don't care for it.
I do not like anything pumpkin flavored.
Yeah,
Me either.
I'm anti.
I don't like any of those type flavors.
I can't wait to
Now,
see the comments on this.
Anti pumpkin spice. Pumpkin anything. I mean, they make good jack-o'-lanterns.
Yeah.
Even like when I make pumpkin pie, I cheat and use sweet potatoes. People don't realize most of that canned pumpkin is sweet potato.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not really
It just tastes
pumpkin.
better.
Yeah.
Pumpkin's bitter. And
I don't know. It's just something about all that spice that goes with it. It's not that good.
It's very nutmeggy and
Yeah.
When
all
people-
spicy.
Yeah.
That's
all
exactly what it
spicy,
is.
yeah.
When people think of pumpkin flavor stuff, they think of allspice. They're not really
Yeah.
thinking of pumpkin, I don't think.
yeah.
So you can do it without the pumpkins and add chicken to it. You got some good jerk. That's the flavors you get in jerk. It's got that spice and that clove and the nutmeg and all that in it. And so when I think of those flavors, I'm thinking jerk chicken or jerk pork. I'm not thinking pumpkin. Coffee. Yeah.
Oh, I saw.
I'll stick to my Blue Mountain Jamaican coffee and then use my jerk season, my pumpkin seasonings for meat.
Starbucks does have a Christmas flavor, like creme brulee latte. I do like that one.
That one's, yeah, but man, it's like 2,500 calories in one cup. It's like the worst thing. I mean, you'd be better off drinking a 6-pack of Coke than you would that drink. It's got so much sugar
I
in it.
usually just get like one a year.
Treat yourself.
Because they're just so.
I'm more of like a peppermint white girl. Like I'll eat anything like the peppermint mochas and all that when Christmas time comes around. That's where I'm at. But
I can't get down on that either. I'm not a mint guy in my drink. Unless it's like
mojito.
Oh yeah, mojitos.
Rumple mints.
Yeah.
I can get down on it then. But yeah, as far as all that other stuff in my coffee, man. Now they do one. What's the one I like when I do order? If I don't get regular coffee, it's a
Caramel
macchiato.
Macchiato.
That one's dangerous. I could drink
That
one of
one's
those
got a
every
bunch
day.
of sugar in it.
Heck
too.
yeah, it'll put 20 pounds on you quick. You drink those for a week solid.
So we went yesterday and they have an apple crisp macchiato, and I actually really liked that. That was really good. It tastes like apple pie in a cup, and that was jam
Pretty
up.
good.
Yeah.
I'll take your word. I've done honed myself to black coffee. It's like I just want that roasted flavor. I want it hot. That's I never would have. If you'd have told me you're going to be a black coffee drinker someday, I would have bet money. Because my parents always, drink black coffee, drink. And I was like, no, it ain't for me. I don't like. I guess your taste buds, as you get older,
Yeah,
I don't know if they weaken.
Start
or they
appreciating
change. Yeah.
bitterness.
I started appreciating that bitterness of coffee.
Life has hated you so much.
You know, when I wake up in the morning, that's when I think about. It's like, man, how good a cup of coffee would be. It's like I've got to have it now.
That's when you know you're old. When coffee, when getting out of bed is worth it for the coffee.
It used to be bacon. Now it's coffee. And used to, I wouldn't even drink it. Like I wouldn't even think about drinking a hot drink in the summer. Now it's like, as soon as I hit the office, I'm making me a cup of coffee every morning. They got me. Juan Valdez hooked me up. Stimulant.
Okay. This weekend is the last chance for our Palmer Home Feed a Family campaign. So we want to talk about that real quick.
Yeah. Man, first off, we want to appreciate everybody's donation this year. There hasn't been, a donation too big or too small that the Palmer Home doesn't need. So thanks for all that support.
We're up to right at 15 grand.
That's awesome. Man,
right under.
That's so good.
They're really killing it right now.
Yeah, that's so good. But you got, let's see, Friday.
Contest
Saturday,
ends Labor Day.
Monday. What time Monday?
September 5th at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Noon on Labor Day.
Noon on Labor Day is your last chance.
Yep.
But we added something because someone, I guess a fan brought this up. Who mentioned that?
Fan.
Or somebody that donated
Yeah.
brought this up to y'all's attention. Why don't we? Because we're doing the top 5. Top 5 are getting a VIP experience. They're going to get to bring a guest, come here to HowToBBQRight Malcom Shop headquarters in November, 4th or 5th or something like that, whatever it is. And we're doing a VIPP, a very important pig picking. And it's going to be fun. And y'all heard us talk about that. But that was going to be for the top 5 fundraisers. But we also, since everybody's helped us so much, we decided we're going to pull one lucky winner. And they're going to get to join us for that event. So no matter what amount you donated, you still got a chance.
It could
everybody's
be $5.
names,
it could be $500. It's going to randomly be picked.
Everybody's name's going in a pot, and minus the top 5 donators, of course.
Yeah.
And then we're going to pull one. So, and we don't get to see. They don't give. Does Palmer Home runs the donations? We don't see the money and who gives, do we?
They have like a
list or something?
leaderboard. On their donation page.
Kind of like a GoFundMe type thing where people
Yeah.
can put a message in. And
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So if anybody you still got time till noon Monday on Labor Day.
And just so you know, the money, this goes directly to the Palmer Home. They don't receive any government grants. Every dime that they have that they, use, it comes from a privately given fund.
And it goes to the kids.
Yes.
Yep.
So what they do is actually help kids who are in a bad situation stay out of the foster care system and help them have the most normal life possible.
And we crashed this. We crashed their site. We did that live stream last week. That's the first time we ever crashed a site.
That was great.
It totally went down during our live stream. So if y'all missed that, can you still go back and watch that live stream?
Yeah. So if you're on the How to BBQ Right podcast page on the YouTube channel, we did post it over there. So
there's a lot of good questions and info on that live stream. We're going to do some more of those too, Tyler.
That was really successful. You and Mark talked a lot about football foods. Mikey cooked some wings.
Went over his wing. Yeah. If you listen to last week's podcast, Mikey went over that whole wing recipe in detail too. So if you want to.
We also just have the clip up on the channel too.
Oh, so, yeah.
Yep. If y'all just want to see that part, go check that out.
Bake those wings this weekend. Don't slip on them.
I did last weekend. They were good.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. Really good.
So 2 fantasy football drafts for you are in the books.
They did. I'm going to dominate this year. Dominate.
How did your drafts go?
One of them went pretty well. The other one, not so well.
How'd your official serious league go?
It rates us like after we do an offline draft, and then they go and put them in, and we run ours through Yahoo Fantasy Sports Football, and they put it back in, and Yahoo rates your team. I was a solid C average, but I'm okay with that. I'll take a C. I took a chance on a lot of young players, a lot of rookies, and they were on my bench. I mean, I got me some solid starters to play with, but then so they're not rating me as high. I mean,
and you're in a keeper league, so
and I
one of them.
Dak Prescott. I waited. I mean, I just waited on the quarterback, and if a dadgum, a Mississippi State Bulldog didn't fall town, and so I took him. I don't know how that's going to go.
Now we can watch football
Yeah,
together.
now you'll be happy. But I will say this. So we had one guy that had a family obligation, could not come to his draft, and Shell runs our board. So she ended up drafting for him, and you had a pretty solid draft.
I had an A.
You got an
Wow.
A.
I was the top drafter.
Heck
She
yeah.
was.
That's
So
crazy.
if anyone would
swear you
like to
cheated.
hire me
I swear you cheated.
to draft for them,
That's your
I
Fiverr
do not know
profile.
how. Yeah.
I will draft that.
She sat right beside me. You ran the board, drafted for Aaron, and had several beers. I watched. I was pretty impressed.
drafting is like gambling.
Yeah.
It's easy.
It's easy. It's easy.
I think, I didn't listen to any of the pre-fantasy draft talk. I didn't do any mock drafts. I didn't research. I didn't do anything. I just did what the little thing told me.
you. Yeah. Well, that's the best team Aaron's ever had. Like if he'd have been in person, he could not have drafted a team like that. He kept we have a two position keeper league, and he kept a tight end like it was one he had from last year, and he got a pretty good pick on it. It was down. You drafted a better tight end than he kept. So hey,
And we used Uber Eats to bring Hooters wings.
and those were good.
They were fire.
Yeah, I cooked some butts and did some other stuff, and the Hooters wings were. I ain't gonna joke. They were good. I just hadn't had them in a long time.
I don't
guess.
know. Yeah, I made some homemade ranch and blue cheese, the dressings, and
They were good.
heck yeah, y'all.
You got the nacho machine and some Hooters wings. You got a party right there. You don't
Man.
have to worry about ribs and all the other stuff that goes with it.
Me and Austin were hanging out on Saturday, and we were trying to cook like basically kind of similar food because y'all talked me into it, like wings and stuff. And he was like, "Why don't we just go stop by the shop real?" Nobody will see us go through the line.
Yeah, just go through the line.
You could have.
Oh, we had plenty. Yeah, there was plenty of leftovers that day.
So, you've been working on your football food recipes. Normally, you add a couple this time every year.
Oh yeah, I've been in full football food mode.
What makes a football food?
Something that's fairly easy to cook, that you can feed a lot of people with, that you can eat without having to sit down and have a knife and fork and a plate, and you just grab and go kind of. And I don't know, just something fun. That's how I would describe football food or tailgate food. I try to think of ways to keep it simple, but still, easy to eat or something like that. That's the best way I can describe and it just goes with beer.
Yeah.
It's just kind of,
Things that prep
Yeah.
easily ahead of time.
yeah, it could be bar food. You could call it that too.
Yeah.
I just call it football food.
This week you did a recipe called you called them Dirty Bird chicken bites
And it was no,
with a dirty dipping sauce.
yeah, it was with no relation to the Ravens, the Dirty Bird team. I just thought they were kind of down and dirty spiced.
Yeah.
You had the heat, you had the bacon. So what I did is I took boneless, skinless chicken breasts and I cut them up into bite-sized chunks, pretty good sized chunks,
Yeah,
but they
they
were
were big.
bite-sized chunks. I took some of our first I marinated those chunks in just hot sauce to put some spice to them. Then I took them out of I left them in there for a couple hours, but you could go overnight on them. It ain't gonna hurt them. It's just hot sauce.
In the video, I don't think you marinated them. I think you just used it as a binder.
Well, you could do that. What the thinking is, just cut them up, throw them in a bag, throw some hot sauce on them, whatever. I probably shook them down for the sake of video. It's been a week. I don't know. I've cooked a lot. It's been in the heat. So put hot sauce on them. Put a hot dill pickle. You can buy.
And you hot rubbed them.
Yeah. I wrapped them in bacon and hot rolled them. That's what I did. It was super easy. And you could buy spicy dill pickle chunks at the store. You could, we got a line of them here at the shop. But whatever hot dill pickle, it just goes with it.
There's a Wiggles brand that's a pretty good
Yeah,
hot
Wiggles,
pickle.
yeah.
Wiggles, yeah.
They have a little sweet too, but that would go with it too. You could pair that.
Ooh, do a sweet and spicy pickle?
Yeah, you could do that too.
Because you just used a hot
It was
deal.
just a hot deal. Yeah. I was thinking, Chick-fil-A got pickles
Me
that goes good
too.
with that.
That's
it
what I
gives you
was
that flavor. And it
thinking.
gave it that flavor.
Yeah.
Really, it really did.
It did. That's what I thought. It was kind of like a spicy chicken
Yep.
without the bun.
And then I wrapped them in a half a slice of bacon or a full slice. It would depends on how big your chunk is. Put them on a skewer, put 2 on a skewer so you'd have 2 big bites, and seasoned them up and cooked them. I cooked them offset, like a 2-zone fire on my Weber, You can tell I really prepared for talking about this recipe. But I have my Weber set up, 2's on fire. Chimney of coals all on one side hot, cool side, and I started them out. I just left them on the cool side. I mean, it's still running. The Weber's going to run 600 degrees with all those coals on one side. So your offside temp's probably 350, 375. It took about, like you'd think for a chicken breast, about 35, 45 minutes.
And you didn't flip them. You didn't
No, I just,
mess with
well,
them.
I kind of moved around the ones that were closest to the fire if
Yeah.
they started browning. But really, you're going to the bacon browns up really nice, and the internal temperature on each of those chunks is like 165 at least. And you don't want to overshoot those like you can a wing or a thigh because they're going to get dry. So make sure you 160 to 165 is perfect range. They're going to carry over because they got some pretty good heat on them. You could cook that on any grill. You could throw it on pellet grill. You could put it on the smoker. Just run your temp up a little bit.
I bet it'd be good using the Vortex with the Weber.
Oh, it worked perfect. I was just doing some other stuff and needed a 2's on fire,
Yeah.
so I did those. I mean, I also did those. I served it with a down and dirty sauce, dipping sauce, and that was something I just whipped up. I said, okay, what would go with this? What could be spicy? What could be a little sweet? And what could be, just a little good dipping sauce? And so I took soy sauce, brown sugar, some honey, some sriracha to give it some heat, and just whipped it up, hit it in the microwave, and then it went about 2 or 3 minutes, just long enough to melt the brown sugar, and then I let it sit at room temp, and it thickens up real nice. And then it just it was a spicy, sweet, tangy with some heat. I mean,
Yeah.
the sriracha packed some heat to it. So it went really, really good with those chicken bites.
And
you could do anything, though, or dipping sauce.
The dipping sauce, I really like the consistency of it because it was thick enough to stick to the chicken, but thin enough to
Yeah,
dip it all the way in,
that's right.
dip it all the way and get a nice coating.
It was just a little sweet and spicy sauce.
Yeah.
Kind of a little Asian flair to it with the soy and the sriracha.
Very little though.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was really good.
But so you also use your 2's on fire to do what my favorite recipe you did.
The spicy steak sticks.
Yes. Thai.
So
spicy Thai steak sticks.
originally I had in mind I was going to do some kind of Asian style flanking short ribs for football food because who doesn't like picking up a piece of that and gnawing on those little bones?
Yeah.
It goes perfect with a beer, goes great for watching the game. Well, I got to the grocery store and they didn't have any cut. I mean, there weren't any in the store. And so I was like,
Do you typically see them in the store?
Typically. Usually I see them. I know Super Low usually has them. Sam's usually has them. Kroger, I've seen them before, but I even asked Steve, the butcher. He's like, no, man, I don't have any of those right now. So he's like, well, let me know what else you're cooking, though, because I know I'm going to be selling out of that tomorrow. That's what he said. He wanted a royalty. He's like, man, I get all this stuff stocked up after your videos. I need to get some kind of royalty.
You're going to have to talk to Kroger, Steve.
I'll talk to Kroger, Steve. That's corporate. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Kroger don't pay me a dime. It's just the closest grocery store to my house. I kind of cook through Kroger, though. Whatever they have is usually where I come up with some inspiration.
Yeah.
Just stroll through there and see what I can find. So I found some flat iron steaks.
So you had to back up.
And I said, you know what? This texture will be similar. What if I just cut these? So I took a long flat iron steak, cut it in half across the grain. And then that kind of made me 2 pieces. And then I cut those 2 pieces into strips with the grain. About a 1/4 inch wide, about like a brisket slice.
So what's the point of cutting it with the grain?
Because when you bite it on the stick, you're kind of biting it against the grain.
So it makes it more.
So when you pull it off, I eat it from that end, I guess
Yeah.
you ate it from sideways. You're eating it. Depends on how you attack it. But the way I did it was really, really good. I mean, that was, I was kind of going along the same way. I went with a Thai marinade, kind of Thai-ish. I don't know what you call it. But I used soy sauce and sugar. I used what really gave it some Asian flavors was I found this this Thai seasoning paste. And I was looking for like ginger and lemongrass and things like that. And I come across this Thai seasoning paste, and it's over with like the garlic and the fresh herbs that are in the little cooler at the grocery store.
Yeah, they have it like just garlic paste.
Yeah.
And, other little pastes.
Things. Yeah, they had ginger paste, and that's
Yeah.
what I was going to get. And I saw this, and I said, wait a minute. That's going to go perfect in my marinade for these little steak sticks. And so it's a squeeze, and I didn't have to do any chopping. I just squeezed it off in the marinade, whipped it all up, and then I skewered the meat first. So I cut them up in strips, put them on a bamboo skewer, just kind of thread it on, stretch it out to where it's going to make like a steak on a stick. And then I put them in a casserole dish and started layering on this marinade. But I saved half of the marinade I whipped up because I wanted to use some of it to baste them at the very end. I didn't want to contaminate it. So I put half of it to the side, and then I drizzled some of this on, moved the steak sticks around, just make sure they were all coated. When I got them all in there, I moved them all around. And then I covered that and stuck it in the refrigerator for about an hour. And that one's another one where you could marinate that for a couple hours or even overnight. You're just going to get more flavor in that beef, and it's going to make it tender. So you could use any cut of steak you wanted on that. If you wanted to do sirloin, if you wanted to do a strip steak, you could do skirt steak that way.
But you used flat iron, right?
But I used a flat iron.
It was a good application.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was really good. And then all they needed was, when you take them out of the marinade, I mean, you're talking fast. It was like, what, Tyler, 2 or 3 minutes on each side.
Yeah.
Flip them, keep moving them around over the hot coal. I set up my twos on fire, but I purposely did that so the end of the skewer would be off the coals and it wouldn't burn up as much, because I knew I was wanting it hot because I wanted to cook them fast and really just searing those thin strips of steak. You don't want to really overcook them a whole lot because you're going to cook all the flavor out of them. So it was like 2 minutes, flip them, 2 minutes, baste them with that reserved marinade that I had, flip them back over, baste them again, and then the whole thing's done in 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I did them in batches, just how many ever would fit on the Weber, pulled them up, and then throw them on the counter, and you could garnish them with a little green onion. I did put green onion in that marinade too. I got the recipe. It's probably on the website.
Soy sauce, sesame oil, Thai chili sauce, the sweet Thai chili sauce.
Whole bottle of that.
Yeah, a whole bottle of that. Some minced garlic, that Thai seasoning paste, and then some green onion.
Green onion. That's all. It's super simple.
Yeah, 5 ingredients.
Yeah, it's a really, really good little marinade.
So
For anything you want to do, kind of a Thai Asian-y flavors on, you can marinate wings in that. You could do, pork. You could do whatever you wanted in that sauce. It's just a great marinade.
So you mixed it up, and then you divided it in half.
Yeah.
And then you used half of it for a marinade and the other half for
it's a glaze kind of.
Yeah, a glaze, yeah.
That's exactly right. And you could have served some of it. You could have served some of it as a dipping sauce if you wanted to.
Just
they didn't
not
need it.
The one you used to marinate.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because you don't want to get that contaminated sauce, and that's the whole point of saving.
That's a good one. You can prep the night before.
Easy, yeah. Let them marinate in a Tupperware dish or something. Just if you put them in a bag, know that those skewers can poke holes. So
that's a lesson.
Don't
you
do
learned.
that. Yeah, not this time. I learned that
a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. Don't skewer in a bag. But they work really great in a casserole dish. Just move them around, cover them up with plastic wrap, and let them sit.
That was one of my favorite recipes you've done.
So good.
It had so much flavor. It reminded me of you go to a Chinese restaurant and they give you the poo poo platter, and they always give you those. I don't know. I always thought it was rat or something, but, but it's like a skewered meat. I don't know if it's chicken or I don't know. It's
got to be chicken, right?
Possum, whatever they felt like cooking, I guess. But it was better. It was way better.
I'm nominating that one for recipe of the year for sure.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Was that good
so
too?
good. So good.
I mean, that marinade's good with shrimp even. I've done it with shrimp.
That I never thought about doing it with chicken wings, but
yeah, it's really, really good.
I don't know. The beef's the way to go.
Just goes with it.
Yeah.
It was super tender and juicy, and I would recommend cooking it just like that on the Weber, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Right over
well, you
the
need that char. You need that flavor.
Yes.
That's what makes it. I mean, you can cook it on any kind of heat source, even a flat top, but it makes a difference when you've got all that juice dripping down on those coals, and it kind of gets it charry bits, and it still has I wouldn't say it was rare, but it was probably more medium, in that range.
I never got a piece that had any pink in it,
but
really.
Yeah, but you don't overcook. You don't want to overcook it either. You don't want to leave it on there too long.
Hey, no, it was tender. It was really tender.
Somebody asked what temp you would cook those to, and
I don't think you could probe them.
There's nothing to probe.
Yeah, there's nothing to probe.
You just cook it kind of fast as long as you don't overcook it.
That's all it is. It's a hot and fast cook.
Could you undercook it?
I mean, you can tell. I promise you, by the time it starts charring a little, and you put the baste on it, it's done. Yeah. It's not like it takes long at all. I mean, they're super fast. It kind of beef goes, like thin beef like that goes through a change where it's, it's kind of got that raw look to the red, the deep red to look. Then it goes to a weird looking gray.
Yeah.
And then it starts to char and look kind of caramelized. And that's when it's done.
Yeah.
I mean, just look for those changes. If it's all gray looking and you still see some moisture seeping up out of it, it's not done.
That's a good way to put it.
That's a good way to look at it.
You also did a Pancho's cheese dip.
Yeah, a lot of people probably don't know Pancho's.
So what's
it's probably
Pancho's?
the best cheese dip in the world.
Probably.
And Pancho's was, growing up, I was born right across the river in West Memphis, Arkansas, the home of Pancho's.
A long, long time ago.
Long time ago. 1975. That dates me right there. 47 years ago, in fact. But anyway, Pancho's was probably the first restaurant I remember going to as a kid. My parents would take us there on Friday or Saturday night was the night you went to Pancho's. We didn't know there wasn't like authentic Mexican restaurants around like that. And I don't know how it got started. It's been in Memphis for before my time, probably since the 50s or 60s.
I think it has.
Yeah. But they always gave, as soon as you come in Pancho's, and it was this restaurant, it had a dark setting, like candles, like these little jar candles on the tables, no lights on in the place.
Yeah.
It was ambiance. I mean,
1956.
wow. That's a Memphis institution. Unfortunately, it's no longer exists. They closed it last year. COVID got them. But they still sell the cheese dip. So when you went into Pancho's and you sat down, the waiter or waitress would bring you out a warm basket of tortilla chips wrapped up like in a napkin, like a cloth napkin. And they would bring you a little cup of their red salsa and then a little cup of their Pancho's cheese dip. And I thought it was the greatest thing. You could just go in there and make a meal off the chips and dip. And
Would they just keep bringing it to you?
Oh, they would keep bringing as much as you wanted. Every time you ate a little cup of it, they'd bring you another one. It was great.
You didn't even have to pay for the cheese?
No, it was free.
Whoa.
Cheese dip and salsa was free as part of the whole thing.
Crazy.
Yeah, Pancho's was great. And they ended up having 4 or 5 of them in Memphis.
Yeah.
We had one in South. We moved over to South Haven. They built one. I think they did it because I moved to South Haven. I was about 12 years old, and they built a Pancho's over by the Mega Market. And it was the greatest Mexican restaurant
Did
there.
y'all keep going then?
Heck yeah. Well, they had one downtown. They had one out in summer. They had a little taco shop like Pancho's Express where you just went and got tacos. They had it going on. It was before its time. And then I guess the next one I knew was Taco Bell, but it couldn't even hold a candle. This was a Mexican. To me, I thought it was a Mexican restaurant. Never been to Mexico anywhere. The adults had margaritas.
I mean, it was kind of a...
Kind of. I mean, there wasn't any Mexicans that worked there as far as I know. But they had a Pancho special. It was like taco enchilada. What's the little flat one called?
Chalupa?
No, tostada and beans and rice. That was the best meal going. I mean, forever, that's what I thought Mexican food was.
When I moved...
Then El Charro opened up and put the hurting on.
Yeah.
We started getting the real deal stuff,
Yeah.
what we thought was the real deal stuff. Changed my Mexican game. Now it's probably besides barbecue, it's my next favorite food group.
When we first started dating, you talked Pancho's up like really big. I'd never been to a Pancho's. You were like, we gotta go. I gotta take you to Pancho's.
The original Pancho's.
The original Pancho's. So you did.
Yeah, we did.
I'm pretty sure like a roach crawled across the table.
It was bad. Like the waiter was like tweaking. We ordered like Pancho's cheese dip. They just brought out the tub from like Kroger and peeled it open. Here's a bag of chips. You got to open the bag yourself. I was like, this is not Pancho. What have they done in West Memphis?
And you kept trying to make it like, it's okay. It's okay.
It's all right. We're fine.
It's going to be great.
And my Pancho special was not special at all. It was like it was like the old El Paso TV dinner ones that you peeled the thing off.
Finally, at the end of the night, you're like, you're right. This sucks.
Let's go back to La Siesta.
They had gone downhill a little.
Even the margaritas weren't good anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why they closed. You know, service went down.
But you can still get the cheese dip. I know Sam's carries
So
it.
that's
I
the
don't know
whole
if it's
kicker.
regional.
You can still get the cheese dip. They sold the company actually, and they sold the rights to their cheese dip, and so they're distributing it nationwide now. And you may have seen it. It's usually over in the cheese section of your grocery store.
Because it's cold. It's
yeah, the refrigerator.
refrigerated.
It's a cold cheese dip. I don't think it's ever been cooked. I don't know if they process it like
I don't know.
the way I grew up making it. Now, everybody in West Memphis knew how to make Pancho's cheese dip. And it's just a blended cheese dip. You would use American processed cheese,
Velveeta.
usually, and it's like you get 1 pound of Velveeta, cube it up, throw it in the blender, 1 can of original Rotel, and dump that in the blender. And you had to have the secret is the cumin and the Mexican oregano. That's what gives it its flavor. And then you just put like some garlic and some onion. You don't need any extra salt or anything like that. You could, I want to say growing up, they probably used garlic salt and garlic and onion salt or whatever. That's what they used. But that's how I remember it. You blend it up and you add just a splash of milk to keep it going. And it's supposed to, it'll turn into this, like at first it looks terrible. It's like Velveeta cheese and Martell and all separates. But when you keep blending it, it all comes together and it makes this cheesy looking sauce that's never been cooked or melted. And Tyler, didn't you say you think uncooked cheese is supposed to be better for you than like melted cheese?
I think so. Yeah, that's what I've heard.
I don't know about that. But this
Like
makes
on
a
your
smooth,
digestive
it makes a
system?
smooth
Probably.
cheese sauce.
Less grease.
Yeah.
It is
I don't know
Velveeta
about
though.
Velveeta.
So
Liquid gold. It's not less grease. It's probably primarily oil. But it makes this cheese, it makes a great cheese dip.
Yeah,
You get
it
the
does.
consistency you want by adding a splash or two of milk at a time. And it's, you got to keep it in the refrigerator. And that's the way Pancho's is. You let it sit out and get room temp and it kind of thins out some, but it's different. It's different than a queso. It's different than any
it is.
nacho sauce or
It
whatever
is.
you're thinking.
And you can heat Pancho.
You can heat it. It's just not as good.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
It's room temp.
And it's the best. And you talk about a football food. I don't know if I've ever went to a tailgate or any kind of a football get together where there wasn't some Panchos
Heck yeah.
in the South,
Around
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every single, I had Panchos. We had the nacho machine. I still set out some Panchos. And that the Panchos cheese dip is amazing, but they make this, they call it Tropical sauce. And it's like a Mexican vinaigrette. And they put it on everything. Like when you get a Pancho special, it had the lettuce and the stuff on the side to put on your tostada. They drizzle that over it, or they drizzle it on their tacos. They sell that in the grocery store too. And it is the bomb.
It is really good. It's a good taco sauce.
It's tangy. It's sweet. It's herby. It's a mustard-based sauce. It's the way I make it. I got to knock off it too. I ain't shared that with nobody. That's my secret. But it's kind of a vinaigrette. Sometimes my mom would put a little mayo in it just to give it a little creaminess. But it's oil and vinegar, seasonings, mustard, sugar. It's good. It's really good.
So-
Their salsa is just okay.
I agree. Their salsa.
That's not my favorite salsa.
how would you make the white queso? Just use like white Velveeta?
Actually, I use white American cheese, not Velveeta.
Mm-hmm.
Because it melts better, and that's what
Lando
that's
White.
what they use in the Mexican restaurants we go to. Like you can go over to the deli and ask them for a pound of I get private selection white American cheese.
I thought it was Lando Lake.
You can't hardly if you
It's so
find you
hard.
got to go to Restaurant Depot to get. That's the one that's like restaurant supply, and it's the best. It melts like it's pretty much like cheese butter.
No wonder
But that's
I
all
like
it is. It is super simple. But you go get that. Tell them don't slice it, and then when you get home, you cube it up and you melt it, and it makes the best white. It's just like the queso you get at La Siesta.
You want to really kick it up? Throw some chorizo.
Oh, that's what I do to it. Cook some chorizo, belt that cheese with I like putting diced chilies, diced jalapenos. You don't need much in it. Season it up a little bit of milk if it needs it, just to thin it down. It's the easiest thing in the world to make.
When you made that Pancho's cheese dip, I took a little out and added some gringo to it and took it to a whole new level.
I don't know about the cream.
We
It's the
actually
world's best cheese dip.
with
They did it.
with the world.
They did it. If Buddy were the elf were in town, he would run into Pancho's and say, "Congratulations." They did it. World's best cheese dip.
So Memphis in May might be in trouble.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would say so. Who is calling in the middle of a dadgum podcast?
I got it.
Spammer.
Bamrest.
I thought it was Pancho's. Pancho's calling, telling us, giving out this recipe. Can't be telling them that's going to cut down their national supply now.
Real quick, they did message us and let us know that
Pancho's
it's made
did?
with all natural cheddar cheese.
I don't
not
believe
Velveeta.
that. Pancho, there ain't no cheddar cheese in West Memphis. Where do they get that? It's Velveeta headquarters.
But they loved your take on
I
it.
think it's like a city ordinance. It's got, if you bring cheese into the town, it's got to be processed. There's no cheddar cheese. If they got some caves out there at the Indian Mountains, aging cheese, I ain't buying it. There's two kinds of cheese in West Memphis: government cheese and Velveeta. I've had both. The government cheese line's long, but the cheese is good. It makes the best grilled cheese. I ain't gonna lie. It's been a long time since I had it. If you know, you know. It's like Pancho's cheese and government cheese. Those two things, just if you know, you know. Hadn't lived till you had those.
The Memphis in May might be in trouble.
Yeah, man, it hit the news big time.
So what's going on? Memphis in May's the international barbecue contest.
For those that hadn't been in the or in the loop with what's happening at Memphis in May, last year they moved Memphis in May because of renovations being made to Tomley Park. That's been the Memphis in May headquarters or site location.
Because normally it's right there on the river.
Foot of Bill Street, Tomley Park, banks of the river. It's what makes the contest the contest.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. There's nothing like all the, 300 teams down there, smoke in the air in between the bridges, and it just changes the whole downtown scape.
It's a pain to get in and it's a pain to get out.
But when you're there, it's so worth it.
Yeah.
and so last year they had to move it because the city or someone come into the city of Memphis and had the bright idea that they needed to renovate it, make the downtown park more like other cities. And what they didn't realize it would do, well, they said, oh, this isn't going to change anything for the Barbecue Fest or the Bill Street Music Festival. It's going to be the same. It's just going to take us a little time, and we're going to make it better. Well, then after that, of course, the landscape's going to be a little different. We can't get as many teams in. We're going to have to lessen the number of teams. And then it just keeps on and on and on going. Well, to where the latest is, now they're going to require such a large damage deposit that they actually asked the organizers of Memphis in May for like a $1.25 million insurance deposit in case, to get the park back in the shape it is before the festivals.
And I kind of understand they're spending
it's going to take a lot of money.
Millions of dollars to renovate this park.
Yes.
And as soon as they get it renovated, we're going to have a big music festival and then a barbecue festival. And it's going to trash it. I understand that. But asking a barbecue team to put up $9,000, $7,800.
That was $7,800. So what it did, it eliminated the teams from where we were getting close to 300 in there, down to like 150, 160 teams. So all it could hold.
Drop by half.
So not almost.
Almost half.
Totally eliminated the patio porkers division, which is where we started. Probably the most fun.
It is the most fun
category to be in. It's where you're not professional. You're there to have a good time, learn about barbecue. You're cooking and competing, but it's where people get hooked on barbecue, and it's why they come to town. And the best parties are going on down there in the patio porkers. Totally gone. So now they're putting it on what teams are going to let in to pay this whole damage deposit. It sounds. Now Memphis in May is like, no, we got to renegotiate this because it's not possible, because you can't say that you expect barbecue teams to come up with $7,800 as a deposit. Now, granted, we have to get these applications in, end of the year.
Yeah.
The contest isn't till May. What are you supposed to do with $8,000 of my dollars?
For 6 months.
To hold it for 6 months?
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. That's absurd.
That's not a deposit. That's a loan.
Yeah, it is. I mean, somebody's making interest off that million, whatever that is. But I mean, and I really don't get it because, and I don't know all the facts. I didn't go to the meetings. This is just hearsay, what I'm seeing on Facebook, what we're seeing in local news. They're turning it into a political. It's getting really political in Memphis about it. But the losers are all the fans of barbecue, the teams of barbecue, the vendors of barbecue. Everybody in general.
I know last year they had it at Tiger Lane.
Yeah, they claimed they lost I don't know how many millions of dollars, like the worst revenue loss ever for having it there, because people there's nothing to do around there for them. So one, you didn't have the tourists that came to the event, and two, they didn't go downtown and spend the money.
And I didn't enjoy it nearly as much.
Oh, it's not near the same. Now, from a logistics and a convenience standpoint, moving the contest was better. But from the actual experience of the barbecue fest, once you're there and the event and all that, you're not going to beat having it at Tomley Park. Yeah. It just didn't seem the same.
Well, a few years ago, the Royal kind of went through something where they didn't have a home anymore.
Yeah,
American Royal.
They have, yep. And they've moved locations 3 times now, right?
A couple, yeah.
Yeah. From the original to the track to wherever it is now.
So do you think Memphis in May will happen this year?
You know what? I don't know. Because I mean, for one, it's come out so early. It's going to make a lot of teams upset, and just no matter what the deposit ends up being, it was $350,
which is understandable.
Which is understandable. Yeah, it's partially refundable.
Yeah,
I mean, when we're on some side in May, we realize that that's part of. There's going to be some damage done to where they're going to have to redo some grass or something like that. That's about the biggest thing they would have to do. And so we paid $350. Partially, some of it's deposited if you don't do anything else damage. Now, when you're having parties, and I understand things might happen, that's why you have that. But we also get insurance taken. We also have to pay for an insurance policy for, being down there too. So that's part of it. And the prices just keep going up.
I know.
Now it's just getting ridiculous where they won't have the average team. I know we couldn't afford to put up $7,800 just to hold for us a chance to get that back, plus everything else that goes to it. You're talking about, that's your $7,800 is a budget for a big team. It's not even a small team budget, Most people,
deposit, yeah.
That's crazy. So I don't know. Going back to where they have it, they're probably going to do something, but I don't know if it's going to ever be the same. We'll have to. I don't even know if they're going to be. So one thing, they say they're 50% through with the park right now, and they say they're going to be done. Who knows? You don't know what's coming this winter. As far as I know, it looks like the Farmer's Almanac saying it's going to be a rough winter. They're going to be able to get all that finished. I don't know. The part my point is the part may not even be complete in May, so it may not be possible
to even have it
there.
Yeah.
But
they lost so much money on it, moving it.
So this is just speculation, total rumor, everything. I heard last year there was so much talk at Memphis in May that they're going to go back to Tom Lee Park for 1 year just to prove that it won't work. And then they're going to have to move it. So if that's going to happen,
location permanently.
but looking at this, I know Memphis in May's upset. City of Memphis has to be upset for revenue. But I don't know who the mayor's behind. I don't live in Memphis, so I don't really know, all the political, who's who and all that. But I know they've got this organization that's in charge of this parks thing. That's who the people are mad at right now. But it seems like they put all this information out to create this buzz about it, and it turned a barbecue contest that's probably arguably one of the best in the world into a fiasco. I'm not saying it's a joke or anything, 'cause it's not a joke. This is serious to me. This is what, we love Memphis in May, and a lot of my friends, that's we think about it all year long. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. But they lost so much money moving it. I don't even know if they would do it.
Yeah.
If they moved it.
I understand they want it to be a moneymaker. To me, it's more than a moneymaker thing. It's a community thing, and it brings attention to the city of Memphis. How do you put a price on that, whether it costs money or not? Is it for profit? Maybe it is. Maybe they're running it for profit.
Yeah.
They need to find out a way to not run it for profit. Barbecue contests.
You say that
barbecue contests aren't really a profitable.
No, they're
not really when you sit back and look at it, it's not a profitable venture. You hope that if you got a cause, you can raise a little money for it. Yeah. But the grand goal ought to be to break even, not to lose money. But
I did read that it said that not only the city of Memphis lost money because of it, but also the organization. So I'm assuming that.
Yeah. And that's why. And that's another one.
They know that they can't have it off site and make money.
Yeah.
And if they can't have it on site, at the park.
Well, my thing is,
they're going to do it at all.
You got the music fest, right?
Yeah.
Why don't they increase those ticket prices and do something there to make
yeah.
It seems to me like they're putting it all on the backs of the barbecue people. That's how it was pitched. That's my problem with it. We're not the only ones that's going to be at the events. You got to make it up all kinds of ways. There's a way to do that without just saying, I don't know, maybe I'm conspiracy minded. Maybe they put that out there to run the teams down. So they'll get their 150 and nobody will argue. I don't know. That's above my pay grade. I'm just a guy that likes to cook barbecue.
So we're just going to keep our eye on it. Hope that they figure it out. Hope that they get it done. But
we hope there's a contest. And if it's not astronomical, we'll be there. If it's not, we'll crank up Malcom and I. We did it during COVID. It's just a month of videos, and whoever knows what else we could do. We'll run another rib shootout or something like that.
Yeah. So yesterday we did a pasta contest here at the office.
We did. Who do you think, if you had to bet on somebody to win that one, who would you put? Who's your horse?
All I'm saying is I wish I brought a scale.
A scale for
What?
Scale to measure meat to pasta ratios.
Oh, mine was definitely more pasta. I put way too much spaghetti in mine. I wanted to be saucy. It
So
wasn't.
what did you turn in?
If you told me, that'd be another question. If I took a poll, what do you think Malcolm's going to cook in a pasta contest? If you didn't say barbecue spaghetti, you wouldn't be paying much attention.
So you turned in
Barbecue spaghetti, yeah.
How did you turn it in?
I got a recipe for it. It's my easy, quick barbecue spaghetti. It's 2 pounds of pulled pork. 1 pound of it I chop, 1 pound of it I pull. It's 1 can of diced tomatoes, 1 can of tomato sauce, 1 cup of barbecue sauce, 1 small red bell pepper chopped, 1 small onion chopped, a packet of spaghetti seasoning, and a little bit of rub. That's all that's in it. That's it. It's so simple. I make and a pound of spaghetti noodles.
You also have some garlic. Did you send?
Oh yeah, I'd use the jar garlic that you had in there. I was like, I ain't chopping garlic for this. It was just a jar of garlic. I didn't even eyeball. I just raked some out with a spoon.
Yeah.
I saute my vegetables, my onions and my bell pepper. Saute that a little bit. I start adding my can of diced tomatoes, my spaghetti packet, my sauce. I stir that up. Add the garlic. Well, I add the garlic in there with the peppers and the onions after they get to cooking a little bit so they don't burn. And then add the barbecue sauce. And I had some pulled pork in the freezer. I pulled out a pound of that and just kind of rough chopped it, threw it in there, brought the sauce together, simmered it, pot of boiling water, whole pound of spaghetti noodles. I just snap them in half, olive oil and salt in the water, throw that in there, boil it for 11 minutes, take it out and strain it, and then combine it all together. And then your other pulled pork, right at the very end, you lay it over the top and you take 50-50 the barbecue sauce and vinegar sauce, squeeze bottle, and just drizzle it right over the top. First place every time. Got a trophy to prove it.
Now, did y'all see Malcolm pulling that pork butt?
You
Did
think
you see
I
what he
would?
did?
Like he was next to me, but I was so busy
you were
in the
focusing on
heat,
it.
you know?
He took the bacon. That's the best part, right underneath that fat cap on that pork butt.
And with the tubes out of it.
And the tubes. He pulled the
Creme de la
absolute
creme.
the creme de la creme out of that pork butt. And that's all he pulled out of that one pork butt.
It was just a bite right over the top. It was like if I was building a pork box,
Yep.
that's the meat that would have been in there kind of stacked up. And I just laid, like if a judge took it and he got his fork in there, and I drizzled the spaghetti, the barbecue sauce over and put just a pinch of hot rub on it just to give it a pop. And when they took that fork, you took that bite of pork and you got down there and got you a big fork of spaghetti and you tried that, your eyes would roll back.
Yeah.
So here's my conspiracy theory.
Somebody actually tried to give you extra points.
Yeah, did you know that? They wanted more stars to give it. Nobody knew it was mine either.
No.
Yeah.
So here's my conspiracy theory. You were the only person that did anything like barbecue related in the pasta world, and all these judges for probably a couple weeks now have been going home to their families and being like, "Hey, I'm going to judge a pasta competition at HowToBBQRight."
Yeah.
And they keep saying pasta, barbecue,
I
pasta,
don't even know how y'all thought it was fair.
and they get there,
Think you
so they
They
got
brainwashed themselves.
so they got here, and you were the only one that did
they
barbecue
saw that.
pasta.
It was like a glow. Like,
They were like,
that's the
eyes
only
lit
way
up.
you beat him.
yeah.
So where'd you come in, Tyler? You came in third, right?
third.
Yep.
Somehow, the squidding pasta came in second, which was interesting.
We were all very surprised. With that.
It tasted better than it looked.
I think maybe it's something that some people like, some people don't. I don't really love seafood, and I feel like it kind of had like a very strong seafoody flavor.
Yep.
It definitely had a seafood flavor. Like it was the noodles were in a seafood brine or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They made them with seafood brine.
I was very
So you
surprised.
pair it with like fish or shellfish or something like that.
And the noodles were dark. You know, the noodles were black. So I
Yeah.
was surprised.
Yeah.
I've seen them a lot on YouTube and stuff, so it was like cool to see them in person. Like
Yeah.
it's a very trendy thing, I think. But then I've been practicing Alfredo pasta. You know, kind of like you had a grill in your hand when you came out of the womb. I was born with Alfredo pasta since I was a little kid. So, and that's kind of like there's this place in Little Rock called Bruno's Little Italy, and they only use Romano cheese. That's like they don't have a single block of Parmesan. So I make the Alfredo specifically with just Romano because it's a lot stronger than normal Parmesan cheeses. And then when I practice, I had homemade my own pasta, but I don't really know how to hold it per se overnight or anything. I feel like it would get dry. So I went to this place in Memphis called Lucchese's, where they sell fresh pasta, and just boiled some of that up, some Alfredo, and then I did a chicken with just some TX and King Craw on it, put that over the top. So it had like a little touch of a spice, but
I thought yours was very, very good.
Yeah, it was good.
It was textbook chicken Alfredo.
Yep. And that's why I try it. Like, I feel like most people like chicken. Like, I'm pretty sure most of the world likes Alfredo. It's just like if you're on a diet, you just not eat it maybe, but that's kind of where I was going.
Mark did something unique. I don't know where he finished, but he did an orzo pasta with like a strip of steak over it.
Yeah.
And it was okay.
His
it was a little fancier than I thought,
His pasta had more beef elements.
What I really
had
liked,
beef flavors
so what he really did to it was he took garlic and fried it until it was crispy and then chopped it up. And you sprinkled that over it, so it gave it this garlicky, crispy crunch with the steak, with the orzo, and everything in it.
Did you try the fried garlic just by itself? Oh, it was good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
We had something similar to that at Porch and Parlor the other day. It was like a Wagyu deviled egg. They cooked tableside Wagyu steak, like the real Japanese A5 tableside. Like brought out this hot little, I don't know what it was. A rock or something.
Yeah, it was.
and it had these deviled eggs, and they cooked these strips of it. And then right before that, they put the strip of that Wagyu beef over that deviled egg, and they took these flakes of deep fried garlic and put over it, and you ate the whole thing, and it was phenomenal.
It was really
good.
It
takes a deviled egg. If we ever have a deviled egg contest, I know what I'm doing. But that was phenomenal. Mikey did. It was like tortellini meets chicken Alfredo meets Velveeta cheese meets crock
I like
pot.
Mikey's.
I called it the
It had spinach and
cheesy rotellini is what I called it. It was like rotel chicken with tortellini and Velveeta cheese and broccoli. Or is it spinach?
No,
or
it's
broccoli?
spinach. Sun-dried tomatoes.
Yeah,
it was really good. It was
one
of my favorites.
It was good. It was good.
But you were so this is the second contest in a row you've won.
That's right.
You won the marker.
3 more, and I'm just gonna have to be an all-time judge.
You always get such a big head when you win. You start bragging and saying all kinds of crazy stuff.
I told you I was going to win that one. This one was like,
you say that now. That is not what you were saying the other day.
But I feel like we have 2 contests left. We got to do another chili contest because I feel like that's got to be a staple every year. And then Jacob over here.
Oh, is he last place? Jacob's
was really, really good.
It was good. It was good.
That vodka was, what'd you
call it? It was like
it?
a classic one, too.
Penne alla vodka. And it was really, the sauce was delicious.
Vodka sauce is good.
But he's picked desserts, so.
A dessert throwdown? See, I'm going to see how y'all are going to incorporate one of my products in a dessert. That's going to be the challenge of this one. You going to do a barbecue sauce pudding cake? Or,
I don't know if we're going to have to.
Hot rub cookies or something?
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think you just could come in with a cheesecake or something.
You know, I have a perfect dessert win from the Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
No, we're scared of a lot of people in this, like Cheyenne and stuff. We also came up with another idea last night to do a $10, like you have to only spend $10, and whoever makes the best dish for that, and you have to bring your receipt to prove it.
To prove that's all you put in it.
Yeah,
$10 doesn't get
nowhere.
Let's do 20.
20.
$10.
That's a good idea, though.
Yeah.
Jacob just wants to do one with no meat involved, like at all.
Yeah.
But
that's gonna be a good one. I don't know.
So you are the reigning champ again.
Wait till I put my baking skills to the test for y'all.
I
can't make a dessert.
I thought you said bacon.
If you've seen my TikTok, I'm pretty good at desserts.
You're not.
Those brownies were delicious.
Heck yeah, they were.
Samoa brownies were good.
Well, we'll see.
Now I got to go shoot some dove so we can cook some recipes this weekend.
Is that what the plan is?
Heck yeah.
So how are you spending your Labor Day?
Dove camp. As soon as we leave here, I'm headed to camp.
What are you cooking this weekend?
We're We're doing skirt steak and chicken thigh tacos tonight on the Blackstone. Sure, we'll have a bunch of stuff to go with. I'm doing a cilantro lime rice thing. I'm going to do some black beans, some of that chorizo queso. Tomorrow we'll do a big breakfast. Well, not a big breakfast, but breakfast sandwiches like biscuits and eggs and cheese and
So dove season
smoked
opens
sausage.
in the morning.
Opens in the morning. Mikey will be doing the safety meeting about 5:30. We'll go into the field.
Safety meeting. And then
Doing for lunch we're going to do some griddled sandwiches, and it's a bologna and cheese sandwich on a Blackstone is hard to beat. You talk about deer camp food or dove camp food. That's a sandwich right there made for a king. But we're going to do some of those, and tonight, of course, we're going to do some fried and smothered dove, some dove poppers, some dove kebabs. We're going to do all things dove. Simmer down some green beans in the Magna-Lot with some bacon, and probably do some mashed potatoes and some dove gravy.
dove gravy. Is that
And
a
the next
thing?
morning, we're going to do another breakfast, probably breakfast tacos, and then doing smash burgers for lunch, and then we're doing dove again for dinner that night, and then
Hunting camp puts weight on you.
oh man, love it. And then Monday morning, I don't know what we're gonna do Monday morning. I like the cooking at deer camp as
Yeah,
much as I
yeah,
do
yeah.
the hunt.
Y'all do enjoy the cooking part.
Yeah. And we're gonna film some videos down there next week for our side project. Some of them will be on our YouTube channel. Some of our what to cook at deer camp,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna put some of them over on Buck Junkies too. Some of the guys are gonna jump on and cook some. So. If y'all haven't been checking out that podcast, y'all need to give it a listen.
If you're interested in hunting,
If you're interested in hunting, yeah.
There's some cooking.
From
but
a
there's a lot
perspective of guys that are, it may not be the right way to do it. I ain't saying it's how to hunt right. It's how we do it. It might be outlaw style, some of it. I don't know.
Well, Mount, that's all I have today.
Yeah, well, good deal. So y'all remember, just real quick, we're still got till Monday at noon for the Palmer home. Appreciate all the help on that this year, guys.
We're gonna have a lot of people helping us on the hog picking, pig picking.
Pig picking.
We're gonna have some special guests, and it'll be a lot of fun.
It will
So November 5th is when that'll be. If you'd like to come, you got to donate.
And check out our community on Facebook. We've got a lot of great people in there asking questions, answering questions, sharing those cooks. So if you're out cooking football food this weekend, watching the games, you want to share recipes, have any questions, if you're at Dove Camp, you want to share anything, we love it all. We appreciate everybody in there. It's a great way to get questions asked and answered too. If you don't get through us on their other platforms, you can get through us in the community always.
Yeah.
Tyler, where else can they?
Make sure you guys check out HowToBBQRight.com or download our app on Google Play Store and the Apple Store. You can find all Malcolm's favorite recipes and tons of game day stuff on there, y'all.
All right. Well, if you want to connect with us, Shell.
If you'd like to connect with Malcolm, it's HowToBBQRight on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and of course YouTube. If you'd like to connect with me, it's Miss Southern Shell on Instagram.
We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Hope everyone has a safe, happy Labor Day weekend. Y'all enjoy yourselves. We'll be back next week for another edition of How to Barbecue Right podcast. We gone.